Hello, Dre Hawkins, Musically Optimistic here, and today I'm going to be doing the next episode of my discography ranked series by ranking Vince Staples' discography from worst to best. As of now, Vince Staples currently has 5 albums in his entire discography, including a couple mixtapes and EPs and stuff, which I am not going to be talking about as this is just strictly album. Now, Vince has been one of my favorite artists since I started getting into music. I don't know, something about his really dark, nihilistic humor just appealed to me and still appeals to me to this day. But yeah, let's just get right into this list. At number 5,
bitch, you thirsty, please grab Sprite. My crib's lurking, don't die tonight.
We have his 2015 debut double album, Summertime '06. Now, coming out with a double LP for your first record is definitely a daring move. Usually that's like a choice that people make deeper into the discography, but Vince decided to do it right off the bat, so kudos to him. And Vince doesn't have like a bad album. Like, this is not a bad album. It's just the one that I get the least out of and the one that I forget more than everything else. Like, looking at the track list here, the ones that I can remember are Lift Me Up, North, of course, absolute fucking banger. Senorita, and that's it. It also doesn't help that this being a much longer record than everything else of his gives it less replay value, so I come back to it less and therefore remember it less. But yeah, let's talk about North for a minute, because that is an absolute banger of a track. It spawned the great meme of the white Christian mom saying the lyrics, and also it's just one of the darkest, most intense rap songs probably ever. Also, any song that starts off with the lines, "Bitch, you thirsty, please grab a Sprite," is a 10 out of 10 song. Great song, pretty good album, and a pretty good place to start with Vince Staples, in my opinion. Really any album, but probably this one. Because while I don't like this one the most, it is probably the most forward showing of his eccentric rap style and his vibes overall. Whereas some of the other albums we'll be covering are a bit weirder. And so, at number 4...
Feeling like I'm floating to the ceiling, is it magic? Baby, tell me why you disappearing, is it magic?
His newest record as of recording, Ramona Park Broke My Heart. Currently, this is the only album of his I have a physical copy of, and while I don't think it's a perfect album by any means, like, it loses a lot of steam in the second half, it's still a really quality, fun record. Whether it's DJ Quick, Magic, or East Point Prayer, there are just so many straight up bangers on this album, and even DJ Quick, which is kind of like a weird little thing. It's so interesting and, dare I say, quirky. You also have When Sparks Fly, which is probably one of Vince Staples' best written songs ever, using the double entendre of a relationship and a handgun, and the overall vibe of it is just so immaculate. Lemonade is a track that I'm a bit mixed on, because Vince does the chorus, but like Ty Dolla $ign is on the track, so why is he not doing that? And Slide Onwards is kind of where it becomes a mixed bag. Like, Bang That is a little weak. Mama's Boy, I think, was a little weak. But yeah, it's still a pretty enjoyable record, and one that I still listen to every now and then. And then yeah, on to number 3. Halfway through the list, we have Vince Staples' 2018 LP, FM. This is essentially a collaboration with Kenny Beats, who has production on every track except for like 2 of them. And this is Vince Staples embracing the sounds of like modern radio rap. The hooks on this are just straight ear candy. The beats are so vibrant. Everything about this is so just weirdly fun, especially the track Fun, which has probably the most simplest beat on the LP, but it's just so bouncy and vibey, and the ad-libs and outro from fucking E40 are just so goofy. I love it. J-Rock's hook on Don't Get Chipped is so catchy, and I wish J-Rock had more albums so I could cover him in this series, because he's pretty damn good too. Run the Bands is probably the track that took the longest to grow on me, as its pacing feels a little weird, but that hook after a while it's like a tumor. It grew on me. And the album also has these skits and interludes which help it to feel more like a radio, as you have Big Boy's radio station or whatever doing skits and helping the tracks transition better. And you have 2 interludes, one from Earl Sweatshirt over a trap beat, and then one of Tyga over a trap beat. Tyga is very typical. For some reason, it's the lowest rated track on the album, aside from the last skit, because for some reason, everyone rates skits low as hell. Anyway, a very electrifying, fun lighthearted LP for anyone. I would probably recommend this first if you don't want to listen to an hour of an artist that you've never heard of before, because this is just a brief, brisk 22 minutes. It's not as representative of a sound, but it's still a fantastic record. And then at number 2, we have
Fuck a bitch, I don't trust no bitch with my government. Fuck a friend, I don't want no friends with no open hands.
Vince Staples. So unlike FM, where most of the tracks were produced by Kenny Beats, all of the tracks are produced by Kenny Beats for this one. It's also a brisk 22 minutes, which means it's pretty much all killer, no filler. And then the first 4 tracks of Are You With That, Law of Averages, Sundown Town, and The Shining, pretty much all of them are just brilliantly penned, earworm, ear candy, brain. This is also the album with the most like introspection and heartfelt lyricism from Vince, detailing his negative experiences growing up in the rough neighborhoods that he did, and that is commendable enough on its own. However, that wouldn't mean much if the songs themselves were not entertaining as they are. And there's not really a song on here that I don't like. It's all just really good, heartfelt, catchy ass stuff. And I don't really have much to say about this album, even though it is at number 2, because it is one of the like more by the numbers albums, I feel like. Like, if you listen to a couple tracks here, you know what you're getting. It's pretty much all sort of the same vibe. He doesn't really go out of his comfort zone too much. It's just a very playing it safe record, and I think it's still a catchy and pretty good album for that. And at number 1, if you've listened to a Vince Staples album, you knew this one was on top. Number 1.
Is your house big? Is your car nice? Is your girl fine? Fuck her all night? Is you well paid? Are your shows packed? If your song played, well they know that.
Is Big Fish Theory. I mean, it's a fantastic album. What can I say about this? This is one of the best fusions of electronic and hip-hop music I have ever heard. The beats on here are so dark and lush and glitchy. The rapping on here is some of the best and most punchy Vince has ever done. And even on the more laid-back tracks like Love Can Be, the energy and the lyricism and the passion in the performances are so good. Alyssa Interlude, which is literally an interlude, is one of my favorite tracks on here. Why? Samo is definitely the weirdest track on here with A$AP Rocky on the hook. It is one of the kookiest and oddest beats I have ever heard on any song ever. Like, not even Death Grips or JPEG Mafia has done something this odd. Bag Bag is just one of the hardest, aggressive songs I have ever heard without being like outright screaming or something. And then Rain Come Down, the outro to this project featuring Ty Dolla $ign on the hook. Gorgeous track. And I also like the little detail where Ty Dolla $ign hums the famous jazz lick, the do 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 do. Yeah. Obviously, I can't talk about this album without mentioning the track featuring Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, right. Well, yes, it is a fantastic song. There are other better songs on it. Like, I get it. The song is structured goofily. I just feel like Vince had Kendrick on a song and was like, yeah, I know I'm going to get outdone, so I'm just going to play it safe. Vince's bars and delivery are cold as ever on this track, but it's like he doesn't take up a great majority of it, and you can tell he knew what he was getting into. Kendrick is amazing on it, of course, as he always is. But are you really going to tell me that Kendrick's performance is better than Vince Staples' outro on Bag Bag? Probably, because that's an opinion. And so, yeah, obviously, Big Fish Theory, Vince Staples' best album. Hopefully he tops it in the future, though, because I want to see what a 10 out of 10 perfect record from Vince is. And that does it for my Vince Staples discography ranking. What do you think about this? How would you rank his discography? Who would you like me to rank next? And just leave a like on the video, subscribe to see more content like it, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Bye. I can't use that audio anymore. So that instrumental that I've been using for my outro for a while was from an instrumental from a song that I didn't put out, thought was mediocre or whatever. But I put that mixtape and song out, so I have to use something different now. So new outro song, and fuck it, new outro graphic. Let's go.